Hello, my name's Troy. I'm here to give a little bit of a testimony. It's something that happened kind of recently, May 25th, actually. So, a buddy of mine decided we were going to go bear hunting that day. And for some reason, that day it just felt like a good day. And to lay a little backstory, we've already had 108 hours of glassing, looking, searching. For all you guys out there want to do the math, go ahead. I think we had something like 17 or 18 days of just looking for a bear. But today it felt good for some reason. There's just something about it. And anyways, fast forward, we get to where we were going and we're glassing and we see a bear, and he's on a ridge about 2 miles away. So I drop my buddy off, he stays there and he's glassing and he's watching, and I'm on the radio and I swing around to the other side behind this mountain range. And at that point in time, it's about 3 total miles away. And I take up this ravine, and I'm looking and I'm just walking. I'm trying to kind of on a mission. It's steep, so I'm going as quick as I can, and I'm definitely not in the shape that I used to be. So it's taking me a little bit while, and I'm climbing this mountain, and I'm stopping along the way, taking breaks, and I get up to this clearing, and I stop and I take a break, and I look back down to where I came from, thinking, man, that's quite a ways. And then for some reason, I look behind me, down to the left, and wouldn't you know it, a black bear is walking right up the tree line, probably about, I don't know, 50 yards from me. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and then he just turns and he walks into the trees. Didn't spook him, nothing. So anyways, I'm coming along and I cut across these trees, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm just gonna meet him right over here on the other side. Well, I see this clearing, so I stop and I get ready, and I'm looking and I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and I'm just taking the time. I'm kind of asking God, I'm like, what should I be doing? Show me the direction I should go. And if anybody knows me, patience is not my strong suit. Not even a little bit. And that's something that I've definitely been told to be working on, and something that is a very hard lesson to learn. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like, what should I do? What should I do? I'm not hearing anything. I'm not getting an answer. I'm thinking, well, that's just kind of life, you know. So I'm like, finally I said, you know what? I'm just going to do what I want to do in true Troy fashion, and I'm just going to keep going straight ahead. The split second that I get up to walk, I hear a rock kind of behind me. And I'm like, well, that's interesting. I wonder if that bear is moving back out to where we just came from. So I sit there for a second, and I'm like, probably not. Right when I get up to leave, I hear a log. He flips over a log. And I'm like, he moved back out there. So I get up, and I sneak around, and this bear is probably 30 yards from me. I don't quite have a shot, so I move up and around the trees, and I see him. And by this time, he's moved another 20 yards, so probably 40 yards. So anyways, long story short, I get my sights, shoot the bear. He runs off another 20, 30 yards, something like that. And that's where it ends. Here's where the story gets really interesting. I walk over to the bear, and immediately I just sit down and I calm myself, and I just thank God, because it has been a long, hard journey, and I just knew instantly that I had been blessed and that it was nice. This bear is pretty. It's the prettiest bear I've ever seen. He's not the biggest bear, but he's full coat. He's just everything that I have ever wanted in a bear. And to some, that may not be a huge blessing, but to me, it was pretty amazing. So anyways, fast forward a little bit. I stand back up and I'm getting ready, and I get the bear on his back, and I look back down at where I came from, and here comes another bear up from exactly where I walked through. And I'm watching this bear, and I'm like, huh. Where we're situated on this hillside, it kind of goes down into a bowl, and there's a little pond there. There's nowhere for this bear to go but up or back to where he came from. So I just naturally, gonna keep an eye on him. Anyways, I look up, and what I thought was another bear, I've reviewed the tape and stuff. I don't think it was. I don't think it was another one up there, but. So we had the bear that I got, a bear down below where I came up from, and the original bear that I was gonna go after up on the hill passed on the other ridge. Couldn't see it. I was about halfway there. I was still probably half a mile away. So anyways, I get to doing what I'm doing, and I start skinning the bear out, and I'm looking, and I'm watching this other bear, and he's moving up a little bit at a time, and I see him. At this point in time, I don't think he's seen me, or he did. I couldn't tell at this time. So I'm watching, and I go back to doing what I'm doing. I'd stop and look. Well, then all of a sudden he's gone, just disappeared. I think he went behind this little hill, and he's working his way up. Anyways, back to the story. I keep going. I'm doing what I'm doing, and I'm about, I don't know, a quarter of the way through. And mind you, I've never skinned a bear before. I'm up here by myself, 3 miles away from anybody that I know, and I'm in the middle of the mountains. And the day before, we were glassing in there, and a guy tells me that he's seen about a 500-600 pound grizz walk up this same ravine. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, I need to get this bear done. I need to get him off the mountain before anything happens. Well, we're into it about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes, and I'm taking my time. I got my buddy Ty's in my ear with the headset, telling me, guide me along what to do as he's making his 3-mile walk to me. So then all of a sudden, the bear that I seen down at the pond pops over this hill. He's probably, I don't know, 125 yards away. So I stand up, and at this point in time, he sees me. At this point in time, he definitely knows I'm there. So I keep watching him for a second, and he keeps walking, and then he goes up and over this ridge about, I don't know, 200 yards away. Well, actually, probably, I think it was more like 260, 275, something in there. And he goes up and over the ridge and into the trees to where I was originally going. And I'm like, okay, he's gone. So I get back to doing what I'm doing. Not 45 seconds later, he comes back out of the trees, and he's making his way towards me. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I've always been taught a grizzly bear 9 times out of 10 will run away. The times that they do charge, it's a good chance that they're just bluff charging, and they'll leave, unless it's a sow and a cub, and then, well, you probably better hope that you're right with Jesus. So, but with black bears, a black bear will always run. There's very rarely have I ever seen a black bear out in the wild where they didn't see you and they took off immediately running. They're kind of scaredy cats. But when they don't, they're coming to either take what you have or they're coming to eat you. So I started going through my head. Immediately, I start singing this song to myself. It's called Standing in Your Love. I can't remember who sings it. I'll have to look that up and let you know. But it's, my fear doesn't stand a chance when I'm standing in your love. And that verse just started repeating in my head, and I just sing it to myself the whole time. Because at this point in time, I'm starting to get a little nervous. Well, as you can see in the video, that he starts coming to me. And at this point in time, he's kind of moseying along, eating, but he's eating with his head up, watching me the whole entire time. And I don't know if he's never seen a human or he just didn't care. But whatever it was, he wanted what I had or he wanted me. So I keep going what I'm doing, and he's moving closer and closer. So at this point in time, he's about 50 yards away. So I stand up. I carry a 44 mag. I pull it out and I shoot over to the side. Didn't even faze him. I mean, he just looked straight at me. Didn't even care. Kept eating, kept coming. So I'm like, okay. So I go back, and at this point in time, I'm still singing this song in my head. It's kind of crazy how it works, and I don't usually repeat songs like that over and over and over again. But it was just in my head, and there was a bit of calm. I shouldn't even say a bit of calm. It was just peaceful. It was just like this. It was starting to get, sun was wanting to start to go down, so the birds are out and they're chirping, and it was just quiet, and it was peaceful. And I'd have to say it was a different feeling than I've probably ever felt, ever, especially being in the mountains alone. And anyways, I go back to skinning what I'm skinning this bear out, and I'm going, and I'm keeping an eye on him, and he keeps coming closer and closer. So at this point in time, I stood up and I shot next to him, right next to him. And if you've ever heard of a 44 mag, it's loud, and mine is exceptionally loud. And it hits next to him. Didn't even faze him once again. So I'm like, all right, this bear is getting, he's got something else coming. So I shoot right in front of him. I don't know if you can see it in the video. The dirt splatters up and hits him in the face, and he just does this number. And then he starts walking to me at a little bit quicker pace. So I yell, and I'm just thinking, it's either going to be me or him at this point in time. And he gets to about 30 yards. And then all of a sudden, he turns and he starts going up. So I shoot behind him again. And then he takes off and he runs and he goes over the hill. And at this point in time, my heart is just going about 1,000 miles an hour. Because he's about 30 yards. And if you know anything about a bear, they can go from 0 to 35 miles an hour quicker than a racehorse, quicker than a dog. They're fast and they'll be on you quick. So he runs into the trees from where I shot that other bear. And at that point in time, I think it was about 40, maybe 50 yards away. And it's on a ridge line, so I can't really see. So then I start getting nervous. And that song goes out of my head, and I start telling myself, something bad's gonna happen. Something bad's gonna happen. You gotta get going. All that calmness completely left me. So I packed up all my stuff real quick, threw it in the bag. I grabbed onto this bear, and this bear's like 250 pounds, maybe 260. I don't know, we'll see. I grabbed on his 2 back feet, and I just book it, dragging this thing down this hill to where I'm at, thinking I'm gonna be safe. And I'm getting away and whatever. I stop about halfway down, and I look back up. Sorry to be a little gruesome, but there is a trail exactly where I drug him. And I'm thinking, I just led him right to me. And I led him into a hole. There's a bowl down there, as you can see, where you can't see over the ridge where this bear came from. You can't see up and over the edge where this bear, where another bear, or where that bear could come from. And you can't see behind me. So I led myself into a worse position than I was in to start with. Long story short, my buddy comes finally, I get a hold of him, he's on the phone, he caught a ride about halfway over. And he makes his way up, he comes a different way up, way easier way. From where I was, if I would have just walked straight down the ridge, I would have practically been almost to the road. Way simpler, smoother, no rocks, nice big trail, just easy going. We got it done, and I got back to the house, and of course I'm telling the story, and a few days later I'm thinking of what I did and what I went through, and I didn't get attacked, so it wasn't a major thing. He didn't necessarily charge me, So it wasn't some great epic story about how I fought a bear hand to hand, but it was nerve-wracking to say the least. Well, then I was talking to Sean, and I had a feeling that he was going to ask me to give a testimony. So I've been praying on it the last couple of days about doing it, and I got to thinking. I was reading the other night, and the story about Peter came up, and the disciples they're in their boat, they're halfway across the lake, and it's just rough, and they're freaking out. I'm sure they're scared. They have no idea what's going on. It's dark, the waves are crashing, and here comes Jesus walking on the water. And so it reminded me a lot of that, as in, Peter asked him, if it's really you, Jesus, then let me walk on water with you. And so he gets out of the boat and he's walking, and he's doing it perfect. He's on the water, and then all of a sudden he starts to sink, and he starts to basically go under the water. And it's because he lost faith. He lost trust. He started thinking to himself, and he started getting in his own head, and that's exactly what I did. It's pretty eye-awakening. So if anybody's known, there's a very few people, but this year has been sorry. This year has been rough. For me personally, spiritually, it's been tough. But it has brought me so much closer to Jesus, to reading, to just developing that relationship with Him, that trust. And if there's one thing that I can say, it's don't give up. When you're going through whatever you're going through, whether it's you're sick or a family member's sick, or it's financially, or something going on with work, or just whatever you're going through, don't give up. Rely on Jesus 100%. See it through to the end. Because I promise you that the outcome is going to be way better than anything that you could have planned for yourself. It may not be exactly what you want. It may not be what you were thinking, but if you look back at what you went through, what you wanted, what you got, will be life-changing. So don't lose faith when you're going through whatever you're going through, and stick with it. It's not easy. Trust me, it's not easy. But I promise you it'll be worth it. And it'll just keep getting easier and easier. And then when the big things do come up, or when the waves are just smashing on that boat and it just seems like there's no end or no way out, you'll see Jesus walking on the water, and he'll be right there with you. And if you trust him, you won't ever sink. So, sorry Sherry, sorry this was took so long. I don't know. I don't mean to take it away from your amazing sermons, but and I don't even know if you guys will see this. I really don't. I don't know if I'll have the guts to actually give it to Sherry to play. But hopefully, just play it while I'm sitting there. So. But anyways, I want to say I love you guys. I want to thank everybody in our church for, you guys have been so awesome. Quiet. Kids are always running around, big kids, but I just want to say thank you, and going through a hard time, just rely on him. Thanks. So I shot this bear from right there. I hit him there. He died here. As I'm looking down the hill, there was another one right there past the little pond. The bear that I shot followed me up this ridge. That other bear that's down there is wandering right over that hill waiting for me to get done. I don't know what he's doing, but he's a good sized bear too. Remember when I told you that bear was loitering? There he is. Ballsy. I just fired 2 shots at him and he's still wanting to come around. It's about 40 yards. There you go, you idiot. I'm going to set up the video so you guys can watch this. You guys seeing this? He's just chilling. Waiting for me to get done. There. I'm about to have a showdown with this bear.